On the news tonight, President Buhari meets APC governors, ask for 7 days to resolve a Naira note scarcity. Protests rock Ibadan as residents attack governor's office over scarcity of fuel and new Naira notes. And Inspector General of Police orders arrest and prosecution of Naira sellers. Many thanks for joining us to News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged citizens to give him 7 days to resolve the cash crunch following the Central Bank of Nigeria's redesign of the Naira notes. The president made the statement while speaking to the Progressive Governors Forum during a visit at the presidential villa in Abuja to seek solutions to the cash crunch, which they said was threatening the good records of the administration in transforming the economy. President Buhari told the APC governors that the currency redesign will give a boost to the economy and provide long-term benefits. Following their meeting with the president, the governors said they requested that the old and new notes be allowed to coexist.
Our request is for the deadline to be shifted, not only shifted, but the old currency should go along with the new currency until the old currency dies a natural death, which is possible. He said he will look into that.
Residents of Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, have taken to the street to protest the lingering petrol and Naira note scarcity in the country. The roads leading to the Iwo area of Ibadan were deserted as the protesters barricaded them. The protesters also attacked the governor's office in Agodi area of Ibadan, throwing stones and other dangerous weapons into the governor's office. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, late last year introduced newly designed 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes and gave a January 31st deadline to phase out the old notes. The deadline was later extended to 10 days following the outcry that greeted the policy. Despite the extension, the new notes are scarce and Nigerians are finding it difficult to get the old notes. The pump price of fuel has also increased, with many people buying the product for as high as 500 Naira per litre. Meanwhile, economic and financial experts have said the move by the CBN to redesign and print new 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira denominations would have no major effect in lowering the rising inflation in the country. Speaking on TV360's flagship program, TV360, the CEO of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, said the Apex Bank's adoption of the currency change is ill-timed. He added that the percentage of new currency pumped into the system is less than the number of old notes being mopped out. Therefore, the exercise has no monetary policy impact.
I've listened to the CBN governor several times saying that there's too much cash outside the system. We have 85% of cash outside the system. Again, you don't base a policy decision on that kind of analysis or theory. Cash is meant to be outside the system. Cash is not meant to be inside the system or inside the banks. What we should worry about is the percentage of cash ratio of your cash to your money supply. How much money do you have in the system? And money is not only cash. What percentage of the money is cash? That is what should worry the CBN. And if you look at the data, percentage of money that is money supply that is cash is only about 6% or even less. This is the way to measure whether you have too much cash in the system or not. You look at your money supply. Money supply as at end of 2022 was 52 trillion. The cash component of money supply was just about 2.6 trillion. You know, that is just about 5%. That is one of the best ratios you can have anywhere in the world. Then another way to measure whether you have too much cash is to relate your cash to your GDP. The cash is 2.6 trillion. The GDP is almost 250 trillion. Just about 1.5% or less. So this is fixing what is not broken. So in the first place, All this urgency, all this rush are completely unnecessary.
Well, still on the redesigned Naira, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Al-Khalibaba, has ordered the arrest of persons selling or abusing the Naira. The IGP on Friday instructed the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigations Department and the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Intelligence to place their officers on high alert. Police spokesperson Muyiwa Adejobi, in a statement issued on Friday, said the police are duty-bound to uphold the federal government's policy and the provision of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act of 2007. He also said all individuals engaged in the sale or abuse of the Naira notes issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria would be prosecuted. The directive from the IGP is coming amid the scarcity of the new Naira notes across the country, a situation that is heightening tension and causing hardship for Nigerians. In a related development, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike is weighing on the nationwide scarcity of the redesigned 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira banknotes, telling President Muhammadu Buhari that the policy would not fight corruption. The governor, while giving an address at the People's Democratic Party campaign rally in Okrika local government area in Rivers State on Friday, called on President Buhari to tread with caution in creating policies within the remaining 3 months of his tenure so as not to anger citizens and be tagged a bad leader. Tagging the newly implemented policies as anti-people, Wike called on the president to listen to the plight of the masses who are negatively affected by the policy and rescind his decision.
I'm in a position to advise. If anybody who advises him or who is advising him on what is going on now about the so-called design of Naira or the black, the old note not to receive, that person does not love him. That person does not do what? Love him. If anybody is saying that you want to fight politicians now or you are fighting corruption, Mr. President, ask the person. 3 months, you are going. 3 months. It's now. The whole corruption will end. Is this 3 months you are going, the whole corruption will end? No way. It is not possible. Mr. President, it is not possible. The note is not there. The new Naira is not there. Even when I have money in my account, I cannot get 10,000 Naira. I cannot go and buy fuel. Who is losing? Who is losing? The masses. Is it not the masses? The masses. Is it not the people? The people. You are merely fighting against the poor people. So, Mr. President, I know the pressure, but please, since 2 of us are going the same time, this policy, it has nothing to fight corruption at all. Fight politicians at all. The policy aims to suffer the people who elected us to govern over them. Our business is not to make people to suffer. We all know how to fight corruption. We all know how to fight politicians. This particular one, it does not come in at all. At all.
Ahead of the 2023 general election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has explained that the safety of members of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, to be deployed as ad hoc staff during the election is non-negotiable. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu gave the assurance when playing host to the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Yushal Ahmed, who was on a courtesy visit to his office in Abuja. Yakubu said INEC places great priority on the comfort, safety and security of the NYSC members, adding that the Commission has also been working with security agencies to ensure the security of Corps members during the polls. In his remarks, Brigadier General Ahmed said the NYSC will strive hard to ensure that the terms of MOU between the two agencies are implemented to the letter.
We deployed them first on a Friday to what we call the super racks, where they stay overnight before they are deployed the following day to the polling units. Over the years, we have been working with the NYSC to make their stay at the super racks overnight more comfortable. And we'll continue to do whatever we can to make their stay at the super racks comfortable, so that the following day we deploy to the polling units. On the issue of security, we have been working over the years with the security agencies to provide security protection to the youth corps members, both security during deployment, security during the election proper, and equally importantly, security of the NYSC camps, because in some states of the Federation there are camps where those on youth service stay during their primary assignment. Unfortunately, in the past, the camps were raided by hoodlums while the youth corps members have been deployed for elections. So what we have done working with the security agencies is to ensure that we extend security protection to the NYSC lodges as well.
We know we are working around the clock, day and night, talking with the security agencies on the importance of the security of these corps members. This talk on the security is actually giving them more confidence that they will actually participate in this election. On our part, we will continue to also sensitize them that they are actually secured, and everything possible will be done to make sure that nothing comes around them in the course of their duties.
A high court sitting in Port Harcourt has convicted and sentenced to death by hanging 2 former members of the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad for extrajudicial killing. 5 members of the SARS team were standing trial for killing Michael Akko and Michael Igwe while in their custody for allegedly stealing recharge cards in Oyigbo local government area in 2015. But 2 of the officers died in custody at the correctional center in Port Harcourt, while 3 others continued with the trial. The trial judge, Justice Emo Okpara, in a judgment found Shedrack Ibibo and Magnus Owuri guilty of conspiracy to murder, while Olisa Emeka was acquitted. Speaking to newsmen after the judgment, the State Prosecution Council expressed happiness, saying justice has been served. At least 3 people have now been confirmed dead after a 2-story building collapsed in Abuja, officials of the Emergency Response Services have said. Speaking to reporters at the site of the collapse, head of the FCT Fire Service Operations described the event as sad and happening at a time when the nation was trying to come out of the issue of building collapse. The building was still under construction when it collapsed into a pile of concrete slabs at noon on Thursday, trapping dozens of people working on the site.
We had a distress call that there was a collapsed building here along 6th Avenue between H Medics and Charlie Boy here in Guaripa, Abuja. Immediately we mobilized our men and equipment to the site, and from that yesterday morning till now, right now that I'm talking to you, we have been here working assiduously with all other stakeholders to ensure that the operation is carried out successfully.
We were able to save 21 lives alive, and 3 were fatally injured. And we could see that the operation is still going on. We will not rest on our oars until when we get to ground zero to make sure that nobody is left on the rubble.
We'll take a break here, but still to come. 2 Niger Delta communities sue Shell over devastating impact of oil pollution. Details of the story and more right after this break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. Here is a recap of our top stories tonight. President Muhammad Buhari has urged citizens to give him 7 days to resolve the cash crunch following the Central Bank of Nigeria's redesigning of the Naira notes. The president gave the statement while speaking to the Progressive Governors Forum during a visit at the presidential villa in Abuja to seek solutions to the cash crunch, which they said was threatening the good records of the administration in transforming the economy. We also told you that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the arrest of persons selling or abusing the Naira. The directive from the IGP is coming amid the scarcity of the new Naira notes across the country, a situation that is heightening tension and causing hardship for Nigerians. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. China has announced it will completely reopen its borders, with the territories of Hong Kong and Macau dropping COVID-19 testing requirements and daily quotas after nearly 3 years of closure. The State Council's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office said on Friday that all remaining restrictions will be dropped starting from midnight on February 6, with group tours allowed to restart. Limited travel across the border between Hong Kong and mainland China resumed in January after Beijing abandoned the zero COVID-19 strategy. The supply of free treatments and vaccines for COVID-19 purchased by the federal government would end as soon as the summer, the White House's top pandemic official has said, as the Biden administration prepares to transition the medicines to the private market. Federal officers have long warned that they would likely run out of government-bought supplies of COVID-19 vaccines and drugs this year after Congress failed to pass the White House's funding request to replenish their stocks. The White House reshuffled funds last year to buy a final tranche of the updated bivalent booster shots. We'll take a breather now and be back with more stories in business. Just stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Simi Saladigun is on standby to bring us up to speed on the latest in the world of business. Simi, what's the latest?
Thank you, Folashade. Welcome to business. Now, over 13,000 residents of the Ogale and Bile communities of the Niger Delta have instituted claims against Shell, claiming it is responsible for devastating pollution of their water sources and destruction of their way of life. In total, 13,652 claims from individuals, churches and schools are asking the oil giant to clean up the pollution which they say has devastated their communities. They are also asking for compensation for the resulting loss of their livelihoods. Shell, which declared profits of more than $30 billion for the first 3 quarters of 2022, argues that the communities have no legal standing to force it to clean up, also adding that the individuals are barred from seeking compensation for spills which happened 5 years before they lodged their claims. The Aviation Safety Roundtable Initiative has held its quarterly business breakfast meeting tagged Aviation in Nigeria Beyond 2023, General Election, Challenges and Prospects. At the quarterly initiative in Lagos with stakeholders in attendance, industry experts spoke on aviation issues in perspective with the global trend and with the view of influencing global best practices in the domestic space. Guest speaker of the event and Chief Executive Officer of the Center for Values and Leadership, Pat Utomi, who highlighted some of the challenges being faced by the aviation industry, said there was no reason why Nigerian airports should not be properly managed to provide common services that meet up to international standards.
There must be standard operating procedures that are developed, standards that can be compared with those anywhere in the world. There's no peculiar Nigerian aviation industry. Aviation is a global business. Things that are done elsewhere in the world should be done likewise in Nigeria. Second, there have to be creative strategies that go to the heart of delivering aviation at an affordable cost. There is a view that airline pricing in Nigeria is pricing elastic, because that's not their competence. But they create the industry that ensures that their desire for quality, low price aviation fuel, always available, gets taken care of. They can fix that kind of problem.
We'll go on a short break here and be back with stock market reports. Stay with us. It's been a week of positive earnings for the Nigerian Exchange Group. Now, the markets appreciated further on Friday by 0.4%. The benchmark all-share index also improved by 54,213 basis points, while market capitalization maintains the 29 trillion mark. 29 trillion naira mark. MRS Oil Nigeria and Northern Nigeria Flour Mills lead Friday's gainers list with a combined total of 29 naira. Now, at the end of the last weekday of trading, a total of 268 million volume of shares valued at over 2 billion naira exchange hands in 4,017 deals. Now, today's data shows a 71% decline in turnover, but 2% improvement in deals. Let's now turn our attention to our select global stocks. All three had positive earnings on Friday. The UK's FTSE, the US Dow Jones, and Japan's Nikkei. It ended at 0.04%, 0.13%, and 0.39%. That's the stock market report. Folashade has the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Simisola, for that update. And on the foreign scene, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has demanded justice for Tyre Nichols, who died following a brutal beating by Memphis police. The Vice President, who spoke at Nichols' funeral held at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, also demanded that Congress pass the Judge Floyd Justice and Policing Act, describing it as non-negotiable. Nichols died earlier this month after being beaten by 5 black police officers, which was captured by surveillance and body cameras video, and has sparked a nationwide protest with citizens calling for police reform.
In the interest of keeping the public safe, because one must ask, was not it in the interest of keeping the public safe that Tyre Nichols would be with us here today? And as Vice President of the United States, we demand that Congress pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Joe Biden will sign it, and we should not delay, and we will not be denied. It is non-negotiable.
In sports, Manchester United have launched an internal investigation to decide the future of Mason Greenwood after attempted rape and assault charges against him were dropped. The England striker was arrested in 2022 over the alleged rape and assault of a young woman after images and videos were posted online. However, in a statement released on Thursday, the Crown Prosecution Service announced the withdrawal of the key witnesses and new material coming to light as factors in the decision to stop the case against the 21-year-old. A few hours later, United released a short statement revealing the club will now conduct its own process before determining the next steps, and also included Greenwood in its late Premier League squad list. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.